Welcome everybody to the first edition of our new monthly series. Happening on the first weekend of every month. That is our Retro Rewind show, and of course, there it is. Here is the graphic Retro Rewatch. So today, since we have SummerSlam coming up in just a couple of weeks, that we revisit an old SummerSlam. It is considered one of the best pay-per-views WWE has ever put out. That's SummerSlam 2002.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry,
Bryan?
I was posting something for us.
That's right.
Yes.
So a lot of people consider this one of WWE's best pay-per-views. Off the top of your head, I know you watched last night like I did. Do you think it holds up? Before we just kind of go through match by match.
That's actually one of the things that I had wrote down is that it actually stood the test of time.
Oh yeah.
There's so many pay-per-views that even in recent date doesn't stand up to the test of time.
Yeah, that's true. And also, this actually was a pay-per-view that kind of was like a passing of the torch in a way, because it was like using not using current stars, but it's actually using like a future superstar in Brock Lesnar. Because that was a risk that WWE decided to take, and that was a smart risk. So
yeah, it certainly paid off, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Because the thing is with Brock is just like at that time, like nobody really knew what he was capable of doing until they gave him the ball.
Right.
So,
So let's look at the first match here. First match, Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle. What a hell of a leadoff match.
Oh yeah. My favorite part, the beginning, where Ray just came from behind him and then he did like a hurricanrana. That's like the best moment. Like they could just do like a relay of that and just amazing,
Yeah. This is pre, that weird chest tattoo that he's got on.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Yep.
Yeah, that was before he got
Yeah, no, I seen the picture and I watched it last night. I don't actually remember his current chest tattoo.
Well, yeah, because he's covering up now. Because of course he's older now. It's been this match. This was almost 19 years ago. Yeah, this was 19 years ago. So yeah.
And he's still wrestling.
Yeah, of course.
Crazy. So as I was watching it, I didn't respect this time in the matches the people were in as talent as I had or as I would have recently. Because back then, I don't know if I watched it live, but I definitely was watching at that time. So yeah, it was different. It was like watching it for the first time because before I was only really interested in the women's wrestling. So if it wasn't on there, I probably wouldn't have got the pay-per-view. Because back then, I was, 17, 18? I don't know. I had to pick and choose what I could spend my mother's money on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, for me, it was just when I watched the match, I was 19 years old, 15, 16 at the time. I really loved Eddie and Ray because of course they're Latino and plus they're around my height, so it was just fun to see somebody smaller to actually wrestle. So it was I was really excited to see Rey Mysterio.
We're gonna stop right there. We finally got our man in here. He's making his Bucklebomb debut here. A few minutes late, but we got Jovan here. Jovan, how you doing today?
Never.
That's right. All right, so we're talking about the first match, the Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle match.
All right. It was a
also, I just want to point out, apparently Orlando didn't get the memo about Blue T-shirt Day.
I am wearing a blue look.
Oh, okay.
See, I'm wearing blue. It's just a dark blue on top. They have a little color.
I love when it all works out.
That's actually kind of hilarious. It wasn't planned at all. Am I the only one that's wearing a SmackDown then now? Oh, no, you got one too. Not a SmackDown one, but a wrestling one.
The wrestling shirt.
It counts.
Let's see. The first match, man, it did everything it needed to. Remember, this is 2002. Excuse me. This is if you can remember back when you saw this pay-per-view, I'd give you $1. I, for the life of me, can't remember then. It was almost 10 years ago. God, man. 20 years ago. Shit, what are we in, 2021?
Yes, it was 19 years ago.
Woo! Yeah. 20 years ago, almost.
We don't need to discuss how long ago it
Oh,
was.
put it this way. It was so long that I'm pretty sure I tape traded this to somebody after I watched it live. Shout out to the tape traders, even the ones that were doing it on the playgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, to the
I mean,
match.
there's kids graduating high school who weren't alive when this was born. I'll just point that out.
And those are the same kids who say Rey Mysterio is overrated. He's not overrated. He's just boring
Oh,
right
no.
now because he's been in it too long.
Of course, you know.
But
wait, hold on. Bryan, say it. Just say it, please.
I saw the face.
I don't think he's boring at all. I think he still has the same talent. I just think that he's stuck on a certain set and a certain gimmick, which has worked for him. And I'm not saying it even has to do anything with him. It could be Vince being like, no, the kids still love you, and instead of letting him grow. But I will say he's not the same person, and I actually don't, or the same talent that was, 19 years ago. But that's not to say that it's because of his age or anything else. I just think stylistically and his gimmick hasn't really gone anywhere in the past 19 years. And I don't think that's necessarily his fault, but I just feel like that character is a little stale after 19 years. I mean, who wouldn't?
What if Ray made a heel turn right now and just started wrestling dirty, just being really cheap? Do you think that would freshen him up a little bit?
I see that coming.
Yeah, no, he kind of did that on SmackDown this past week. So, I mean,
I think it's a big evolution for him because, I mean, he has to turn on his son and maybe we get the retirement match, father versus son.
No, we're not doing a father versus son match. No, I don't think they want to do that.
I'm here for it. I'm totally 100% here for violence of that.
Don't hit Nando. It's coming.
Nope. There's always going to be one, and I'm not going to go for that. I'm going to be so heartbroken because, I mean, Dominic, look, Dominic, he's doing his own thing. I don't know if he'll, don the mask like his father, but, seeing, because I remember, I have Rey Mysterio's, DVD, where he talks about when he came to WWE, they never really considered him as, a superstar in a sense because he was always in the cruiserweight division. So when he came here, he started wrestling their bigger talent. That's what he talked about when he first faced Kurt Angle, which Kurt Angle, at that time, you have to face him so that you can be legit. Because, Kurt Angle was the man when it comes to wrestling.
And, I mean, after watching last night's match, Kurt Angle deserves every bit of respect that he had, even if he was mentally not there at that time. But.
Now, during that match, when I was watching the finish, does anybody else feel like that was a botch finish that they just made work? Because it kind of looked botchy, but Kurt rolled into the ankle lock anyway.
Yeah, he just timed it. And I mean, I don't think that was on Ray. I think that was solely on Kurt. But
yeah, Kurt's timing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it ruined the match, though.
Yeah, it was a good match. It was a good way to start a card.
Oh, no, yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I'm Kurt Angle, he kept up with Ray. It was just it was amazing. So I was just
yep.
I was it was an amazing match, so.
Oh, here we go. From Elijah Moore, next SmackDown, Ray breaks up a kendo stick and down.
Elijah, I would actually love that.
What is up with the weekend with social media choosing violence?
We're all sick of Orlando. We want to see it.
It's the end of July, first week of August. Back to school supplies are in stores. People realizing summer's coming to an end. It's back to it's coming back to fall and cold winter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Fucking time. This heat is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Everybody's having
it's
record
75
highs
here today.
Yesterday, I woke up and I chose violence against everybody. Nobody was safe.
Everybody. Oh, it was a thing to see.
Also, some of my most proudest moments came from yesterday. But
Oh God.
They were breakout brilliance in the violence.
All right.
So this match ends. We see Kurt Angle make a great tap out. Great match. After that, we cut to a promo. Bischoff walks into Steph's office. This is kind of beginning of the battle of GMs. Steph has SmackDown. Bischoff has Raw. So we see a little friendly competition there. It is what it is. Cuts a little comedy area.
I actually really enjoyed their banter.
Yeah.
But can you believe it? It's been 19 years with the brand split.
We're going to keep bringing up 19
Moving
years.
on. Moving on. So we got the second match of the night.
Sorry.
Ric Flair versus Chris Jericho.
I liked it. It was a decent match. Okay, so I'm actually in the middle of reading, and I use that term loosely because I work like an hour away, so I listen to it on audio. So I'm listening to Chris Jericho's book. I don't remember what it is. It's not.
I think it's called the List of Jericho or something like that. I think
No. It's one of his books in 2014 or something.
No was a four.
Oh.
What is it?
No was a 4-letter word.
No, I think it was the one right after that. He has 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah. Okay, but I think we know what you're talking about. Yeah. So.
It's like a orange-red cover. Anyways, he talks about this time in his career, and he just finished talking about his match with Ric Flair. So it was really kind of cool to see, going back and, seeing him reliving it after I've already heard, his behind-the-scenes thoughts of it. There's nothing major that I can think of, but I just remember him talking about it.
Yeah.
See, the Jericho fan in me hated this matchup, hated the result, because this was coming fresh off of Jericho beating The Rock and Stone Cold to become the undisputed champion. He was no longer champ, but the damn commentary team really put it over. Who else is beating The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night? And then he loses to the man, Ric Flair, because to be the man, you have to beat the man. So even though he's done everything, Chris Jericho was not the man that night. I was mad at the finish, but it was a good match.
Yeah, agreed.
I think around that time, he was facing Triple H as well, so I don't know what direction they were kind of going. Because also remember, I think it was I don't know, because he was going to be teaming up with Christian after this. I think that's when he started at that time in 2002. I think.
It was a lot. Hurt yourself.
But also it's just it was also reminiscent. I remember some documentation that they were talking about Ric Flair at this time before he got together with Triple H. Yes, yes, I know. It feels really old.
5 years old. Get out of here, Elijah.
Wait, how old is he?
He had to be hella young. How old were you? Drop it in the comments.
Yeah. But yeah, it was at that time, I think, because they didn't know what really to do with Ric Flair, because I think he was getting some feuds and stuff, and then the feud with Stone Cold didn't go well. So I think they wanted to give him a win at this time. So I mean, it wasn't not a bad match. I agree. But it is what it is.
Flair match.
Yeah, of course we had Flair winning the match, and both of them trying to cheat a little bit. Just Flair ended up coming out on top this one. Of course, after this we had Brock and the Paul Heyman promo. Kind of doing a little interview, just Heyman trying to hit it home that his guy is the guy.
I mean, Paul Heyman is still just a great guy at promos. It's just he's he's ageless. When it comes to his promos, it's just
yeah.
I just hope that he does a class of promos. He does a school. You got to do this type of promo, do this. He needs to do that.
I mean, he's certainly on the Mount Rushmore of promo guys, I would say.
Oh yeah.
That's a topic for another show, though.
Took a huge bump later in the pay-per-view, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
The next matchup, this one made me a little sad in the beginning because of, who we're missing. Latino Heat versus Edge.
Eddie!
It was a really solid match. I mean, you put these two together, no matter what, you're going to have a solid match.
Yeah.
Agree.
It was weird for me seeing Edge come out to the music that he came out to.
Never gonna stop there. Never gonna stop.
I was like, what? How long did we suffer through this until we got the music that we all know and love?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I mean, Rob Zombie, wasn't a bad choice, especially for that time.
Yeah,
No, of course not.
I mean, hell, we had Limp Bizkit in that time frame too, so I mean, there definitely could have been worse. But
Kid Rock, we had Kid Rock, we had Disturbed. I mean, you can count them all. So just like
it was the time of doing music with good music.
Yeah. But at least I like Ray's. Like Ray when he got what was it? What was the band called? POD? Or is it? Yeah, so POD. Like I still like that song.
So I maybe it's just on mine, but a lot of their entrance music wasn't their actual entrance music.
Oh no! Like what happened was is that they don't have the rights anymore, so they can't play them. So, but we're reminiscing back in the day. So back in the day,
that's not Undertaker's music.
Yeah, no.
I was.
Oh no, yeah, no. Trust me. There's some music choices that some of them chose because of their character at that time, and some of them they can't license them anymore because of the artist. So
yeah, they had to give it back.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
As far as the match goes, I mean, this was hell of a match.
Yeah, Eddie being Eddie, it was greatness. If you like wrestling, there's not a way that you can watch an Eddie Guerrero match and not see the small things that he does throughout every match that brings you into it. And at the time, he was going against a fairly young Edge, who even then you could see that this kid was going to be something. So to kind of see them two playing off in what would have been towards Eddie's prime / latter end, and Edge really starting to come into himself. Oh, it was mind blowing. They put on a hell of a match for what it was.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, Eddie was one of the best minds as far as knowing what to do, when to do it, and why to do it.
Yep.
Do you feel like he was better more as a heel or a face, in your opinion?
He was the heel you love to hate.
Yeah, or he was the heel you would love to be. That was the weird thing with Eddie. Even if he was a heel, people still cheered their ass off for him because they're like, "Hell yeah, we're all lying, cheating, and stealing too."
Of course, gotta love it.
So next up on the card was the only tag team match of the night for the tag team championship. Christian and Lance Storm, the Un-Americans, taking on Booker T and Goldust, who I forgot teamed up. And that's just, looking back, such a weird tag team combination.
It was such
I'm just remembering those promos that they did together. The one with the hot dog. Oh my god. If everybody like Googles it, like you have to just see like Booker T and Goldust promos. It's just,
Make sure you're not doing it on your work computer, Brian.
Yeah, no, don't do it.
No, wait until we're done.
After
that's Goldust related, don't do it around kids or work.
So I actually ended up watching the Raw after SummerSlam last night because apparently I don't have a life.
We know.
So it was funny because Kane ended up making a debut. The Un-Americans were coming out to burn the flag right after 9/11. The reason that I'm bringing that up is because Goldust and Booker T came out there, and Kane came back out, Kane made his return and did the what does Booker call it?
The Spinaroonie.
The Spinaroonie, and Kane ended up doing it, and it was actually very, very funny.
Oh god, I have to go back and look at that.
I just remember that mask. I was just like, for Kane, I was like, why is like a mask of his missing? I was like, oh, so he can talk. And now I get it.
Yeah.
But no, this was a nice match. Like of course, like Booker and Goldust, like they were building up to their win for the tag team titles. So this was kind of like their detour in a sense.
Yeah.
So so they're still trying to build up like rapport with each other. So I
And
liked it.
who didn't like, America versus everybody? The un-Americans were that good heel that wrestling used to use back in the day because they're not American, damn it. And that's basically the only thing they really hung on this whole match. And I don't know. For what it was, the workers in the match are really damn good workers. They were able to get it over with no help from commentary, who I felt like kind of floundered a bit. But it was a good match. Put on a good match.
But remember, because the announcer team, they were American as well, so they gotta hate the heel team. So because we're America, it's America,
That's kind of
Laying
funny that storyline would never be able to be done today.
The hell? We'll find some other un-Americans.
No, you know what would be the smart storyline they could do? Somebody that is an American but hates America. I mean, come on now. Who wouldn't want to boo somebody like that? You're supposed to love America. How dare you? You got freedom here.
So you want another Sergeant Slaughter, a Rocky what was it, the Iraqi sympathizer?
Yeah. Well, no, but remember, because it was still kind of an a racist tone, because like he's sympathizing with the enemy that is of a foreign land, So I don't know. Like I don't know how they'll try to do something like that, but
sure they could figure it out.
I will say that this was my least favorite of the night match.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. This was the bathroom match of the evening. Unless you just liked hearing the commentary team go, "That's an upside down flag, damn it! That's a symbol of distress."
Although, unlike back then, what we have now is we have that pause button to go to the bathroom. So I mean,
yeah,
technology's come a long way in 18 years.
Yeah. Like fast forward or pause and rewind,
Although, unless you're watching Peacock Live, the pay-per-views, you can't pause it or you can't restart. Come on, Peacock, get on that.
And no replays. That really pisses me off. You have to wait like 2 hours after the show is done to catch a replay.
That's so stupid.
Yeah. We'll move on to maybe the show stealer of the night. Benoit versus RVD for the Intercontinental Championship.
I don't kind of understand why they blurred out the title.
Because it was WWF. Because remember, at the time they had to change their name because they were sued, and so that's why they changed to WWE. Because WWF was, what was the other organization called? What was it?
World Wildlife Foundation.
Right. No, I know that, but at that time they already switched. So that wasn't. So they switched that year in May.
But the title still had the F.
Yeah, they haven't changed all the titles yet, so that was the problem.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
By the way, spoiler for anybody who didn't watch the match, the commentary team should have told you who was winning this one. They went with the damn Raw commentary team. So if we were paying attention back then, we probably would have been able to put bingo together and we're like, oh wow, I wonder if he's losing because they have the other show doing the match.
That's actually a very good point.
Right? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
1 point for
Jovan.
Do
you guys have an issue talking about Chris Benoit matches after, like what has happened with him?
No. Chris Benoit in ring was one of the best tacticians that we will ever see in the world of pro wrestling. Outside of the ring and what he did in his personal life, yes. It's not something that I condone. It's not something that we support. But purely in ring ability, character, moves, the man was in a class of his own. Hall of Famer based off of his ability. But what he did is going to overshadow that. So, it's unfortunate.
It is really unfortunate because we also don't know what happened. And that's not saying that I'm giving him a pass for it whatsoever. But whatever happened, he was not well. I mean, it's not like something that he, was just a bad person and all of a sudden, or was like, oh, we all knew he was going to do this. Something had to have happened, or something. He just wasn't well. So could, the way I look at it is any illness, whether it's mental, physical, etc. If he would have gotten help at the time, if WWE had the same type of medical standards back then, they could have, maybe prevented this. I mean, we don't know. I mean, I'm just saying that he was obviously not well, and unfortunately it led to murder-suicide.
Yep. I mean, in a group of 20 people, you could probably find about 10 different theories about what happened or what caused it.
Probably.
We'll never know for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think mine's the most right.
I like yours a lot. After you said what it was, I started thinking about it, and I was like, okay, that makes a whole bunch of sense.
I don't actually want to talk about it here, though.
Oh,
yeah.
Because it's...
Can we just say how Rob Van Dam has not aged?
The weed. It's the weed. We should have known by 20 years ago. It's the weed.
I mean, look at him.
Yeah. I mean, weed does wonders.
It does.
I have to say, Rob Van Dam's moveset is just because I think that was when he came to WWE around 2001. I never really knew about ECW, so seeing him wrestle, it was just incredible. I was just like, damn.
I don't know why we keep him employed. How do you not know about the original ECW?
I saw the face. I'm like, oh, here we go.
That's all the time we have for Orlando today.
Just for the record, I did not do that. Hand check.
Okay, I didn't know about it at that time until now. Okay, I have been watching some few pay-per-view. If you let me finish.
That was not me.
Champion.
If you don't start out right, you can't finish.
Oh God.
Also, I want to say, I think Rob Van Dam, despite being a Hall of Famer, I don't think he gets enough credit. He was such an innovator in the moves he did, bringing new styles to light.
And the thing is, I saw him on Impact most recently, and I think that may be the last promotion that he worked for within the last year. He still has it. He's, what, 50? And that hasn't slowed him down. The only thing that you can obviously tell, he lost his passion for it. It's just a paycheck for him. He has a lot of other things, I feel, that are going on that trump his love for wrestling, and maybe he does need a break. I mean, could he come back and do the same thing? Maybe.
Yeah, I think with RVD, it was real apparent that for him it was a paycheck, and I think that's damn near the exact words that he said when I was speaking with him. And it did kind of, blow you away. He's like, people ask me what my favorite match is. I don't have any. I kind of do this. This is my job. It's my 8 to 5. And for somebody who was as talented in the ring, was able to get, the massive buy-in from the crowd that he did, for him to be like, yeah, I'm kind of just over it. I do it because I'm good at it. Kind of blew me away a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe him when he says that. And let me, because I watched one of his documentaries. He was saying how much of a fan he was at the time. I just think after so many years of being in it, he lost that passion, and it did turn into just a paycheck. Do I necessarily believe him that he never cared, or that he was always like, oh, this is just a job? Not at all. You don't have that type of talent and that type of continuity of work if you don't have some type of passion for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think, the late 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, I think that passion is there. And I still think we'll see, maybe one or two more matches out of him.
2006 when he was the ECW champion or WWE champion.
Right.
Again, his own personal issues got in the way.
Yeah.
And took it out. So
that's right when he probably stopped loving it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he got a little bit of it when he went to TNA, and then, of course, I don't know, because unfortunately, TNA at that time when he went there, I think the business was kind of going down for them. So I think that's,
Orlando, they handed the keys off to Hulk Hogan.
Whose fault was that? It's not my fault. It was them. So
they made
I
a
mean,
lot of bad decisions there in TNA, man.
no,
Jesus.
no. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
Do you guys think we'll see one more RVD match in his lifetime?
I think he's content. I don't think he wants to. I mean, if he wants to, that's his choice. But I think he's content right now.
I agree with Orlando, and I only want to see him return if it's not for a paycheck, but something that he truly wants to do and wants to give. I mean, he could have like another, year or two just to do it, but it has to be something that he wants to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pull down with everybody and say, if he does, I want it to be because he wants to. There's a match he wants. That way we get the best of him at the end. But if not, let him ride off into the sunset, because even the last thing we would have seen on him was him still working well. So I don't need to see a broken down RVD who can't do Rolling Thunder anymore.
I think we can see, maybe a 6 to 8 month run if he comes back and does a tag team with Riddle.
I don't know about that. It's too similar of a character. I don't know. We'll see.
That's why it'd be perfect.
Thanks for joining us again, Orlando.
Okay, so I would actually love to see that. I think that I think that would be awesome to see. It has to be something that he really, really wants to do.
Yeah. If he's got the passion in it, great. If not, maybe just manage him. Moving on to Battle of the Big Men here. We had Undertaker versus Test. He was part of the Un-Americans faction.
Mm-hmm.
We saw him earlier in the night. He's the one that helped Christian and Lance Storm retain the titles.
Mm-hmm.
And they.
What were you saying, Bryan?
I liked the match. I loved Taker at that time. I believe for me, that was the pinnacle of when he was absolutely at his best. Not to say that he hasn't had great matches since then, or even in the most recent years. But for me, I think that was the Taker that just blew my mind and made me a Taker fan.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think what made Undertaker and Chris Jericho the same, what made them stay relevant so long, is they changed their characters every so often. And Undertaker changing to a biker gimmick, it was fresh. He was still known as the Dead Man, kept the Undertaker name, just, kind of went, American biker badass a little bit, and I think it kind of helped revive his career a little bit.
No, he's the American badass. Remember that. American badass.
Yeah. I mean, even Kane, even though he had the similar pyro and entrance music, even his character and his look continuously changed throughout the years.
Mm-hmm. That big metal face Kane, the metal mask Kane, is one of my favorites. I like that mask, man.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I'm going to go ahead and say it so nobody else does. Even though you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, may he rest in peace, Test. Test could not wrestle. In my opinion, Test was just a good big body guy who was able to do some of the basics. Taker kind of dictated that whole match. It was a good match. Test put on one of the best performances I've seen him put on. And maybe I'm hating a little bit because I don't like him. But no, yeah, it was prime Taker. It was a hell of a match for what it was.
But remember, at that time, they weren't really training a lot of the guys and girls, so some of them, they didn't really know, like, they know the basics, but they don't know how to put on, like, a 20-minute match. That's unfortunate. Like, nowadays, they have to go through the PC and, like, train them for at least a good few months so that way they know the basics and know what to do. Like, case in point, look at Bad Bunny. Say what?
Test was with Stephanie. That's how he got on TV, though.
What do you mean? You mean that they're dating?
They were.
Yeah.
Prior to Triple H.
Oh, maybe. I do know that he was also trained by Bret Hart. So I don't know.
See, I think Test to me was one of those guys, he could do a few moves well, but if you wanted a good match out of him, he needed some help with who he was against. or tag teaming with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, he only trained for like a year before entering WWE. He was still very green. Like, we think about it now, like you're usually an independent wrestler for at least 5 years, maybe even 10 in some cases, before you even get to NXT, and then they have the Performance Center where you're pretty much training every day. So
different time frame.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a different world from then to now. So
exactly.
Who knows? Yeah. Test gone through all of that, gone through the PC, and then got buried on Raw. We still would have loved him.
Yeah. I don't know yet. I mean, like, the thing is I can't really agree because, of course, there's always the exception when it comes to like Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar to pick it up like that, where some people they need several years to get into the mindset as well as get into the routine of it. So, so we can't really say, because there's a lot of people that have been trained by WWE or they went like probably 6 months to a year and they got it, but some people they need several years so that they can get it. So
to hone their craft.
Of course, So
I mean,
I can't really say
Brock Lesnar doing the shooting star press, very ill advised. Him now, I bet he won't even go the top rope.
No, of course not.
So you see the evolution.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we see Undertaker win this match.
Not surprising.
The next match was, us 90s kids. We grew up, we loved Shawn Michaels, and then he got taken away from us, and then he comes back. And then we got Triple H versus Shawn Michaels unsanctioned match. God, what a brutal, hard-hitting match.
Yeah. That match was like I still remember it. Like it was just like the pyro, the introduction of him coming back, like like I did like at the time I started watching wrestling in the late '90s, so like '99. So that was when Shawn Michaels was already gone. So this was actually my first ever match watching of Shawn Michaels. So after this, that's when I started watching like some Shawn Michaels matches, which I can see why people say that he's the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He was one.
Mm-hmm. Dennis, thanks for joining us. And yeah, it's not only possibly the best SummerSlam ever, but potentially one of the best pay-per-views ever.
Mm-hmm. And it was just like interesting with the whole back injury because they did like the whole story about it. It's just like I just wondered like what was it that he was able to do that he was able to come back? That was like my thing. So I was I don't know if it was.
He got right with the Lord, Orlando. He cleaned himself up. Saw this. He came back ready and willing to go. Good. He was in shape.
I mean, he's not wrong, but I think he just needed to take some time off. I don't think he had surgery because I did watch one of his documentaries. I don't remember what it was, but I think he just needed time off. He wasn't as hurt as much, and he just came back.
There's kayfabe here, ladies and gentlemen. We tell you like it is.
Yeah, I get it, but but I think it was like good that it was with Triple H because they were friends. So of course, like Triple H is not gonna kill him. But
that's the worst thing, Orlando. Any friend that you wrestle with, they go in wanting to kill you.
I
Bryan, can you confirm
that there is a certain truth to that, because like even like people that I train with that I'm like friends with, I have 10 times easier going with them than I do anybody that I'm not like super familiar with, because I know like their limits, like how hard you are able to hit it or how hard they want you. So I mean, it does make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Things that I never thought I'd actually say on the
But I have to say, like Shawn Michaels' reaction throughout this whole match was incredible. Like everybody was standing on their feet when he did the nip up, when he was like doing his comebacks and stuff, high flying and everything, And then towards the end when he kissed like the referee after he won the match, like he was like so happy like what he did at that time, like
Yeah.
Because he was thinking like it was just probably like one and done. Like he thought like this was his only match. He's done. So
no, I think after a match like that with Shawn, the moment you show the crowd you can still go, the moment Vince sees you can still go, you have that type of match that was emotionally invested with the whole crowd. Oh, hold on.
Oh.
I was skeptical. Did he prove me
But
wrong?
for the audio-only audience, I'll read this out for you. So friend of the show, Dennis Day Jr., says he was skeptical of how HBK would be after an extended absence. Boy, did he prove me wrong. And also, I'll go on record and say that his second run that started after this show was better than his first run.
You know, a lot of people say that. A lot of people say that his second one is a lot better than his first one.
Yeah, because you got somebody that was committed every night. He wasn't doing the things that he used to do that would have maybe got him to be a little sloppy. You literally got, from that point into the end of his career, well, not the end of his career because Saudi happened, but from that point on to
we don't count that here.
The better end of his career, you got 100% worth out of Shawn Michaels. He went out there, he gave you amazing matches. His two with Taker, Ric Flair, he really, after that, he didn't only save his career, but he capped a Hall of Fame career.
Agree.
Yeah, and also, I mean, to be honest, like, there's a difference between being a star of the locker room and being a leader in the locker room. I think he went from being the star and having that kind of prima donna attitude to actually being one of the leaders and taking care of the younger generation.
Yep.
I don't know about that. I've heard stories about his second run where a lot of people hated him at that time still too. So
you can't make everybody happy though.
I know, but I mean, like, I know, like, it's probably like it was a lot better because he was not like. I think what happened was is because they put him to the front, so maybe that's what affected him because like at that time with the wars, like the Monday Night Wars, and like their ratings were decreasing because while he was champion and stuff, and he was feuding with Bret Hart a lot of times, so maybe that affected him a lot. So.
They hated each other too, though.
Yeah, I know that. So that's well known.
Like that's not kayfabe. They legit couldn't stand each other.
Of course, you know. They even did a DVD about that. Oh, we just lost Sarah.
We lost Sarah. What are we gonna do?
Oh no!
Oh no, I don't have any of the graphics or anything.
Yeah.
So,
but what did you guys think of Triple H though? How about that? So what did you think Triple H in this match?
I'm still one of the people that are a firm believer that Triple H is still one of the GOATs in this industry. I know that he probably held on longer than most people due to the status of who he ended up marrying and dating. Yeah, sure, okay. But that doesn't take away that he's still super intelligent on how he runs NXT, how he knows the business, and also he can really work. So, I mean, honestly,
to go from where he started at Terra Rising to become Triple H, he honestly, a lot of it was his work ethic. A lot of it was his in-ring ability. No one is ever going to watch Triple H, especially in his prime, and say the man couldn't work. The man legitimately could work his ass off. He's going to be a multiple-time Hall of Famer. DX, I know, is already there. He's probably going to get in by himself. The man, he did do the work. Maybe he got a little more opportunity because he was with the wife. But even, before that, the work rate still justified where he was at on the card.
I think you have to like thank when what is called the curtain call happened. I think that probably motivated him because they buried him throughout that time. So
they tried.
Like he went, So I mean, I agree with everybody here. I mean, like, say what you want. I mean, Triple H is one of the greatest of all time there is. And I know everybody's gonna be like, but about Stephanie, but I know he worked. Like he showed that he could work. So that was okay.
2002 in this pay-per-view, boy. Tell me you wouldn't want to try to be with Stephanie during that time frame. Come on. Woo! It was a smoke show.
I mean, she was covering up in 2002 until she decided to show out the next year. She was very covered up, remember? I was just like, why is she covered up? Like, she's wearing business suits and stuff. I'm like, you did all that surgery for what? Sorry.
So as I was saying before my camera cut out there, so we had Shawn Michaels won the match and then gets attacked by Triple H from behind with a sledgehammer, a couple devastating shots. But overall, great match.
Oh yeah.
You know what? At that time when I was a kid, I was just like, oh no, he killed him. Because like I didn't like because it felt real for me. Like he hit him. Like now I watch it back, I'm like, oh, he didn't really hit him. You know?
Still building him, damn it.
Yeah.
So after that, we got our main event of the night. Undisputed champion, The Rock, against Brock Lesnar.
And
Ooh.
Paul Heyman goes to one of the announce tables.
Yes.
But I remember this match where people booed The Rock. I was just like, what is wrong with everybody?
People wanted the next big thing.
No. The true story is because The Rock was going to Hollywood, people were getting pissed at him. Like, oh, so you want to leave us? Boo
Yep.
you! You know, let's go ahead and cheer for Brock Lesnar.
And you know what? They all still went and watched his movies.
Of course.
And the sad thing though, because you knew The Rock had it, no matter what, in wrestling, even in a crappy CGI movie, The Rock had it, and we were always down with The Rock. And the thought of him leaving, oh, it pissed everybody off.
And especially with the whole like Stone Cold situation, that's what really hurt the fans more.
Mhm.
We
Because
lost
like
two.
Yeah, exactly. Two of the greatest of all time. Can you imagine if both of them did not walk out, how this business would probably have been a lot different? I think this business would have been a lot different if they have not walked out. Honestly.
Well, for Austin, I don't think that it would have been. If he didn't walk out, I think he would have walked himself out, like just by his antics. At that time, he wasn't in the greatest mind frames. He kind of was an egotistical maniac at the time, and he admits that. So I think that
He also found Jesus.
yeah. I mean, it's not that hard.
Brought to you by Jesus.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think if Austin would have kept going, honestly, we probably would have started hating Austin. And I think that's the good thing is that he did stop when he did due to the neck, because we're still able to look back and finally be like, okay, yeah, for that time period, and it's what everyone says, no one has ever caught lightning in a bottle like Stone Cold Steve Austin. But behind the scenes, he was a major ass.
Also, you got to realize, like, the WWE or WWF at that time, right before Austin came in, it was very cookie cutter. Like, it was very, like, not even PG. I would go with G. Like, just
eat your vegetables and say your prayers.
Yeah, exactly. So when Austin comes in, flips everybody off, stuns the boss, and like shoots the ring full of beer, like, yeah, who's not gonna love him? But and you're not gonna get lightning twice on that.
No.
So,
No.
I was gonna say something real controversial, but I'll leave it alone.
You'll tell us
text it
later.
to us
How
and
about
we'll
that?
tell you if you can post it.
Uh-huh.
I'd rather not have AEW fanboys come at me, because I love
Bucklebomb
AEW.
after dark.
Oh, please. Oh, come on now. Look, AEW is not perfect. Okay, I'll say it. Okay, I mean it's good, but it's not perfect.
He is Orlando. You can send hate mail to him on the BBB.
Yeah, at me. How they say.
Don't worry, Dallas will come at you.
I don't care.
As long as it's on that.
Yeah. But I have to say this was a really good match for this. I think this was like Brock's biggest match to date when he started, because he's been in the company. What was it, like 5 months, 6 months?
Yeah, he was young.
Mhm.
It was his rookie year.
Yeah.
He was off his King of the Ring victory too.
Yeah. I don't think we'll ever see somebody in their 20s win the WWE Championship for a while. So
What's that? How old is that Bordeaux kid? That the next Brock
He's in his
Lesnar?
early 20s.
Too late.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't necessarily know if he's going to be able to strike gold. Like, he looks too much like Raw. I don't know.
I don't see that he looks like Brock. I mean, he looks. No, he does not look like Brock, honestly.
His dog puppy
Again, that's
tattoos
Orlando
on his
at
arm.
bucklebombentertainment.com.
I don't care. A lot of people
I'm gonna
look.
start emailing him now.
Orlando chose violence today.
Yeah, it's because people chose violence, so I'm with that. I choose violence. But no, I get what you guys are saying. Like he does look like almost a prototype of what Brock would be. So it's just depending on when they would like to debut him, if he's ready for that spotlight. That's another thing too, because
Or, okay, so if I was WWE, what I would do is have Brock get the belt. The kid comes in and beats him for the belt.
Oh wow.
that's a good one. I like that.
But he may
You know,
suck in wrestling. I don't know. I've never seen him.
yeah.
I've never seen him really do anything.
Yeah. How long has he been in NXT now? Like how long has he been inside now? Like what, 6 months now?
About, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, back to this match real quick. Brock, I was never a fan because I never felt like he was a fan of wrestling. And I think that, and I don't necessarily mean that you have to be a fan in order to wrestle. Like, you don't have to start off being like a lifelong love it. But like at some point when you start training or you have your first tryout and you'll hear them, oh, I just fell in love with it. I have to be here. And then those people end up being like some of the greatest stars because they absolutely like go back and watch and become fans. Mm-hmm. However, he never became a fan. This was literally just a paycheck for him. He could care less about anything else. And I think for me, that always showed. So I never really supported him. Like, I'm a big fan of when other people are fans of it, or else it's not going to be authentic.
Yeah. And what were you going to say, Javi? Jovan? Javi? Oh, sorry.
Jay.
Jovan.
Yeah, Jay. Sorry, Jay. There we go. I'll say Jay now. Sorry.
No, but no, that's 100% right. Like he's never shied away from the fact that he doesn't love the business. That this has always been a check to him. Even though your wife is a former wrestler, sir, you're welcome. Even though this business is giving you everything, I mean, come on. Even though it's somewhat of a wrestler, but he did meet her there.
Yeah, no, I know. Come on.
I mean, to be fair, she didn't necessarily love it either.
Of course not.
That's what
because she came in because of her husband. That was the thing, and then they decided to push her because he was injured. So, but case in point, look with Brock. I mean, it's just like at that time I didn't know that he didn't love it until afterwards, until after he left. You know, like I thought that he was like a beast. He looked like a beast, you know. So and like he really wrestled, and it was amazing just to see a big guy doing a lot of amateur wrestling. So
he was a wrestling just beast. He was a savant in wrestling, but he could actually wrestle. He was a NCAA wrestler. So all of his moves looked real, probably because he was stiff as shit, and they probably were, a little stiffer than everyone else.
Of course.
But we weren't safe because we don't really see him injuring anybody. But that's the thing with Brock. That's why everything he did look so real is because he knew how to make it look real. Sadly, he never had the love for it, which is why he would never talk for himself. He had someone cut promos for him, try to get him over. We got over. We liked the person that got him over. But do people actually like Brock and not Paul Heyman?
Yeah.
Early Brock Lesnar was good. He put on some good matches. Now it's him and Goldberg. It seems you might get a 6-7 minute match out of him.
Goldberg lasts as long as the blue pill keeps him going.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's interesting. Like, if he would have stayed, I think he would have easily retired young. Like, like he could have just like stopped after like maybe 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
He would have been probably multi-time, like how he is now, multi-time champion. So.
Are we talking about Goldberg?
No, I'm talking about Brock Lesnar.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, but the thing is just that he didn't like the road life. So I mean that, also he hates people too. So
It's just a weird. He was just athletic enough to do it. He hates people.
Of course.
He doesn't love
But remember, he lived in like in the state where there was not a lot of people. It's like a very small town or something. So he's probably used to isolation or woods and stuff. So when
he is legitimately, if anything happened to us in like zombie apocalypse, I'm finding Brock fucking Lesnar.
Gotta go to Canada. That's where he's living now with his wife and kids. So
have you seen his daughter? She looks just like the old one. I think she's a swimmer. or something.
No, I think she's like an amateur wrestler like her dad. I don't
It's
know.
really-
She wrestles. I think she wrestles and swims.
Okay. Yeah, I think she's going to ASU, or she had gotten accepted to ASU something. I just remember seeing the headlines of her and thinking, Jesus Christ, that's Brock's face on a lady's body.
Yeah.
I did not want to say that, but okay.
It's the truth, Orlando. I'm sorry.
Bryan's Googling it now.
Anyway,
And you
but
can email your hate email to Jovan at.
They're open. If you want to debate it, I'll show you the photo.
oh god.
Okay.
But no, but this match, like it really I can't even say the word. It put the stamp on Brock Lesnar as the next superstar. So I mean, it helped him.
Agree.
Big thing.
hmm I mean, and it was impressive. Like when he won, it was just like, what was he, 25 at the time? He was 25 at the time. So yeah, I don't know if we'll ever see somebody. I mean, we could. I mean, if they do hire somebody, I mean, we'll see if WWE will ever do that, but they have to probably go through a process. So the youngest I would see somebody maybe win the WWE Championship will probably be like 27, 28 when they go through the PC, then go to NXT, and then they go up to Raw or SmackDown. So
It's gonna be Dominic Mysterio. What's he
you
like
think so?
right now?
Okay, maybe I could see that.
It
Yeah.
kept fire and people get behind him. There's a chance he can do it.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting good reaction and he's like taking it up. So just like he just needs more reps and stuff. So now that they're back on the road, so now he could get more reps and stuff. So
Yep.
All right. So of course, in this match we see Brock Lesnar win the Undisputed Championship. Half the crowd loved it. Half the crowd hated it. He went on a tear for many years to come.
Mhm.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you guys rate this pay-per-view overall?
I would give it maybe 8.75 at 9-ish because it wasn't like a perfect pay per view, but it was a great pay per view all along.
So I think for me it's about 9.25, give or take 9.25. It was really good. A lot of enjoyable moments.
I'm actually not going to rate it because I don't think it's fair for me to, because fuck it. 7.
Oh wow!
No, that's still good because we always think about if we don't do it in the first 3 or 2 numbers away from 10, it's bad. No, I think it's a super solid pay-per-view. I would even borderline say that it was an excellent pay-per-view, but it was missing a lot of what I like in wrestling as far as
There was no death matches.
that's actually a new thing for me that I actually like.
Well, would it Shawn Michaels versus Triple H consider be a death match, or is that
more or
just
less,
a hard?
yeah.
I mean,
More or less, it was because they were Triple H, of course, had to be bloodied. He has to have that faucet of blood. We didn't even talk about that. He had a faucet of blood in his face.
I will say for that time, it was definitely a hardcore match. Now,
Yes,
does
it
a
was.
hardcore match of that time go anywhere close to where they're at with death matches? Absolutely not.
No.
Wrestling, we always have to, every time it turns or whatever, a new air comes in, it goes a little bit more south, I guess you could say.
Well, now I've got to go higher so we can bring the curve back up because Bryan up there went 7. No, I'm thinking I'm at a solid 8.75 to almost a borderline 9.
Okay.
There was only 1 or 2 things I could say about the whole pay-per-view that I really didn't enjoy. But other than that, for the time, this was one of those pay-per-views that you would talk about at school for the week. Even though Monday Night Raw was the next night, you were still talking about big spots from the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I feel like you're rating it on nostalgia.
You're damn right I am.
Nostalgia. So
Of
I
course.
didn't watch it live back then, so I don't know. Like, I don't have. That's why I didn't want to really rate it, because I don't have those same feelings that when you guys watched it live.
It was
There's
5
nothing
stars,
like-
Bryan. 5 stars.
Yeah, it's impossible to get that same feeling of watching an old pay-per-view or an old show that you get in today's world. And I don't mean because they don't hold up or whatnot. It's just you're not as invested if it's not in current times. So it's hard for me to actually give it an honest rating.
I could see that. Yeah,
I can see that.
That's fair.
Except for me and my markiness, you know, anytime I see The Rock, I'm instantly back into the '90s, and you know, I'm in the cut off Brahmable T-shirt, and you know, it's bad.
For me, it was Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio at that time. Like, you know, I love Rey still, but you know, I just like he's a little stale right now. So I don't think he's overrated. I think he's still one of the goats of all time. It's just
Yeah, I mean, although we kind of shitted on Ray at the beginning of the show, I definitely don't think that he is a GOAT. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is a
He's
legend.
great.
He will go into multiple Hall of Fames. If he's not in multiple Hall of Fames, I'll be upset.
Yeah.
mhm.
And he's, what, 50 and still doing it? Like, come on.
He's 46, 47, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, he's still young. Like, no, he had his son young. That's the thing. Like, he was in his early 20s when he had his son.
How
Like
about
him and his wife.
yeah, Dominic made his WWE debut with Eddie and Ray. That's right, tu papi.
Yeah.
That was a great.
I'm too papi.
I'm your papi. It was horrible.
That's actually coming out. Okay, so what I decided to do after watching SummerSlam, I was like, I'm going to watch like SmackDown, because I didn't really watch SmackDown at that time. It was all Raw. So my goal is to watch like all of the pay-per-views.
Oh, you're gonna see how much the SmackDown has changed so much. Like, it was like the best show, but then they had its moments where it was like meh. But no, like I still feel like SmackDown is better than Raw. Like
I
even
agree,
even
because
back
it's
to
more
that.
based on wrestling. I just remember I liked, because at that time, if it wasn't for the women's division or women wrestling, I didn't pay as much attention. Like, everything else is just kind of like, whatever. Now it's a different world, and I just love wrestling, period. It's not just for one thing. So in a lot of ways, I'm seeing it with new eyes for the first time, and seeing how talented like Eddie Guerrero was. Because back then, I didn't care about Eddie Guerrero. There were certain people like that I liked, like RVD, because he was just so fun to watch. Same thing with like Super Crazy, Tajiri, that kind of stuff. So it's such a different world watching it from my eyes today than it was back then live.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So we will end it here for tonight. Check us out first weekend next month of September for the next Retro Rewatch. We will announce a week beforehand what pay-per-view we will watch. We'll decide then. For now, subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts. You can find us there. Subscribe, rate us 5 stars. Of course,
Wait, hold on. I'm going to interrupt you, Sarah. There's one thing I wanted to say about the pay-per-view that I was talking.
Oh,
we're out of time. Go ahead.
Bitch, I will cut you.
Oh man.
Never mind. I'm not going to speak there.
All right.
No, one of the things that I absolutely loved was the staging of SummerSlam. Like, back then, they gave a shit about like how it looked and spent, a lot of money setting up the stage. Like, now it's just LED lights and just putting it in different places. It doesn't mean as much. But I remember looking at that stage and being like, holy shit, that would have been amazing to see in person. That's it. Thank you.
I remember the Backlash sets with the giant hooks.
Yep.
I love that set.
I'm a stage
For me, it was Armageddon stages with the fire and the like.
Yes.
One was like the end of the world, like the city's all burnt.
Yeah.
Love that.
Then you could stage in every game.
Yeah, I think they should start bringing back different theme stages. That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was saying, don't forget to subscribe to us on Twitter as well. You can find us at Bucklebomb ENT. You can find me at The Real Sarah, BBE. Bryan, where can they find you?
You can find me at Bryan Bella BBE on Twitter. You can also join our new prediction league. It's called Wrestle World, headed up by Kenny. Let us
You
know,
can follow me at
comment or something if you want to join our prediction league.
yes. And you can follow me at Twitter at Orly1985_BBE. Go ahead and give me a follow, guys.
That's a long one to try to remember. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm still trying to think on how I should change my thing. So
You can find me on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to yell at me for my horrible, horrible job tonight, I am at DFW Chairman. DFW Chairman.
Is that real?
Is it what?
Is that your real handle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the chairman of DFW. They don't know it yet, but I've got the official title on my Twitter. All of you guys, I was going to make a joke about being BBC, but I left it alone.
So quick note, I was just looking on cagematch.net to see what they ranked, what the users there ranked SummerSlam. So out of 165 fan votes, SummerSlam 2002 got a 9.36.
Nice. So we weren't too far off.
No.
Yeah, we weren't too far. Yeah.
The lowest ratings were, there's a couple people that ranked it as 6. So Bryan's better than a few people there. So
there you go.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.